Okay, so I wanted to share today a little bit about something that God's been teaching me. Where to start? Let's start with this. One thing about me that many of you might not know is the fact that I do not consider myself to have the gift of evangelism. I've got quite a few friends, and one particular one who I'm thinking of, who very much have the gift of evangelism. And it's like they can get into a car accident and end up witnessing to the person. And it's just ridiculous. But for the longest time in my life, I've always felt guilty about the fact that I am not very good at witnessing to people. I'm not good at leading a person through the prayer of salvation or walking them down the Roman road or, doing all of these things. And I always felt really bad about it. I mean, especially growing up as a missionary kid, watching teams come and participating with teams that came and going out in the street trying to start casual conversations with people in order to share the gospel with them was just not a strength of mine. And over the years, I kind of said, okay, no big deal. It's not my gifting. God's given me gifts in other areas of life. And, I'm a great speaker. I'm a decent teacher. I love discipleship. And those are just as important. So no big deal. I'll have my friends, bring it to church and I'll, disciple them. No big deal. Well, the other night, Beck and I were talking, having a really good discussion, and God's been kind of teaching me something. He's been teaching me that I'm wrong. Well, first of all, that I'm wrong in the fact that it's not based on performance. The idea of performing, even though it is getting people saved, it was still, in my mind, it was still the idea of performing. Doing the right thing. It's what you were supposed to do as a Christian. Well, recently, and this is a little bit going to seem like a separate thought, but it is connected. Basically, I've been thinking a lot about my relationship with my daughter and wanting her to grow up to be a believer and to believe in Jesus and to have a relationship with Jesus and with God. And I've really been noticing, I have a few friends, and one of the things that really has been impacting me lately is that in casual conversation, not just sharing about, spiritual stuff, but in casual conversation, they'll talk about how, the other day they were talking to God and God told them this, or God shared this with them, or God told them to do this. And in casual conversation, I mean, not just about the spiritual. And that has been really touching me so much so that I was like, well, hey, how cool would it be if, first of all, I wanted that to become a part of my normal conversation. And so I started doing that. I always prayed, but I started praying more and talking to God more and allowing that to come out in my conversations with people, specifically my wife, and saying, I was talking to God, or I was talking to God about this, and he said this. Well, as I was thinking about it, I was like, how cool would it be if, as Yael grew up, and over the years, she started hearing me say that, and eventually, hopefully, said something along the lines of, Dad, that's so cool. Daddy, how do I talk to God? Or Daddy, how do you talk to God? Something like that would just, it would be amazing for me. And even if it's not that way, don't worry. But I was just thinking, how cool would that be? Well, as I was thinking about that, back in relation to now connecting with the whole evangelism gift thing, I was realizing, well, I've learned how to make casual conversation with people. When I go get my Starbucks, I'll talk to the baristas. When I go check out at the supermarket, I'll talk to my cash register. I like making people feel like they're not just, a machine that helped me do something. They're not just providing a service, they're a person. And so I'll start talking to them. Well, as I was connecting the dots here, basically I was thinking, why not, if I want the overflow of my conversation to include the fact that I was talking to God with both my wife and daughter in order to help be a witness to them, why not allow it to overflow into my casual conversations with anybody else? And boom, there you go, evangelism in the most simplest form. No technique needed, no 1, 2, 3 steps, no certain prayer. But can't you just imagine what someone would say if I'm buying my coffee and as I'm sharing something with them, I don't know how I had a rough day the other day, but I was talking to God and he encouraged me. I mean, the person will probably be like, you were doing what? You were talking to God? How do you do that? And you heard back from him? How do you hear God? And it can easily start conversations where it would be easy to share about my relationship with God. And so, anyways, that was just something I was thinking about. It's something that really connected the dots for me, helping me realize that evangelism, although certain people are more gifted in certain areas, God wants us to exercise all of our spiritual muscles, and evangelism being one of them, and all of the others as well. And so that was just an interesting connection for me, helping me realize, and honestly thinking about Kazakhstan and what life is going to be like there for me, and trying to be a pastor, trying to be a missionary. God's kind of rearranging the way I think about this. So anyways, I wanted to share that with you guys. Hopefully this video isn't too long, but that was just something I've been thinking about. So feel free to comment, feel free to join in the discussion. Alright, talk to you later.